And thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Marnie Hughes.
And I'm Joe Donlin. New information in the race for a COVID-19 vaccine tops our news this hour.
And I'm Rob Nelson. Tonight, NewsNation confirming that AstraZeneca has stopped late-stage trials on its COVID-19 vaccine not once, but twice. Yesterday, the company announced it was halting giving the vaccine to study participants. Well, then tonight, a company spokesperson told NewsNation the drug maker stopped the trial back in July as well, both times due to side effects on those participating. Now, stopping these kinds of trials is not unusual. In fact, the director of the National Institutes of Health told a Senate committee today that it is a safeguard built into the system. AstraZeneca's vaccine is now temporarily on hold, but two other vaccines in the U.S. are also in final stage trials. In an exclusive interview with NewsNation today, the FDA commissioner said a vaccine, as we all know, is critical to getting through this pandemic.
This is an important issue for the United States of America, for the world. This vaccine, these vaccines, the development of them, critically important to the health and welfare and the public health of the American people.
While one drug company did suffer a setback of sorts, hundreds of vaccines worldwide are still in the works. Two here in the U.S. in late-stage trials. Once ready, the vaccine will still have to get approval from the FDA. NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil sat down with the FDA commissioner for this exclusive interview tonight. Joe.
And we wanted to talk to Dr. Hahn about public trust issues around this vaccine process. We already know that all these vaccine makers are working extra time and much faster developing it than normal. So already there may be concerns there. And then you add to that politics, or concerns that it's going to be politics instead of science dictating when the FDA approves a vaccine. Well, today, Dr. Hahn tried to reassure the American public through our interview. When it comes to approving a COVID vaccine, Dr. Stephen Hahn, commissioner of the FDA, says his agency will follow the science.
We feel the urgency of the situation at FDA just like everybody else does, and we want a vaccine that is safe and effective as soon as possible. But we're not going to cut any corners.
This week, the CEOs of 9 biopharmaceutical companies published a joint statement committing not to submit their vaccines to the FDA until their own trials, not politics, dictate they're ready. Hahn says he applauds that decision.
They have to make the decision about when the data are ready, and it's reassuring to hear that.
This has been an issue that unfortunately has been politicized. And so is it a concern that they felt they needed to do this to try to build their own credibility?
Well, I wish we weren't in an environment where one had to make those statements, but we are in the environment that we're in. And I am very pleased with hearing that these companies are going to follow good clinical practice of clinical trials.
But Hahn says approving a successful vaccine is one battle. Convincing the public it's safe is another.
We need everyone to actually consider this, everyone to step up, and everyone to understand the process and to help us in this endeavor.
We're talking to social media influencers like Kylie Jenner and T.I. and again Lady Gaga.
Surgeon General Jerome Adams, too, says the medical community and lawmakers need to think outside the box to reassure Americans the vaccine process is safe. And he says that means celebrity star power.
My kids will do something because and believe it because they say it before they'll believe it because Dr. Collins or I say it.
Still, many Democrats like Senator Patty Murray say President Trump's statements on a vaccine being ready before Election Day undermine the credibility of the vaccine process.
We cannot allow President Trump to repeat his alarming pattern of putting politics ahead of science.
Meantime, Republican Senator Lamar Alexander praised the administration's efforts to fast-track a vaccine.
Thanks to an unprecedented effort by the private sector and our government, as well as scientists around the world, there's likely to be a COVID-19 vaccine ready for the most vulnerable citizens by the end of the year.
You may remember very recently the CDC sent out letters to governors of every state saying, be ready for a vaccine by November 1st. We did press Dr. Hahn to see when he anticipates a vaccine will be ready. He says he doesn't want to speculate. The FDA's role, he says, is to just call balls and strikes, and so he's going to be waiting for the data before he puts any speculation into a date. Reporting live here tonight in Washington, D.C., Joe Khalil, NewsNation.